sunlight go brrr, jeez. What is up YouTube? It is Onion Bomb here. Welcome back to another Honkai reaction video. We're continuing the playlist yet again, going along down the line of the chronological lore playlist, the animation, the music. We got it all. And we're starting off with Honkai Chronicles again. This one is just for Kiana. Kaslana. Is this something I've seen? I think. But for those who don't know the vibe, there are some things I have seen. Not only seen, but I've seen like in video. I've done first reactions to before. Those were months ago, and I now know a little bit more about the franchise as far as characters and names and whatnot, so I'm gonna learn a little bit more details. So yeah, that is why. If there's anything you're like, did you watch this before? That's why. But there's a decent streak coming up of things I have yet to see. So yeah, let's get into it, shall we?
A few years after the second eruption in 2000, a girl came into this imperfect world in an experiment pod. She had no name, only a cold serial number, K423. K423 was created by Otto via splicing Kiana Kaslana's genes and that from Siren the Hersher of the Void together. The Hersher core attained consciousness in the new body, and she was expected to become a human with Hersher powers. In 2007, Siegfried Kaslana attempted to abduct K423 in secret, but was intercepted by Schicksal in his escape. His biological daughter went missing afterward. Siegfried adopted K423 and raised her as his own, but was unwilling to name her after his own daughter. That was until one day, to protect the injured Siegfried, K423 took up arms to confront a Honkai beast in his place. Tender soul defied fate for the first time in order to protect her loved one. Touched by her action, Siegfried decided to name her Kiana Kaslana. He made a promise to her. As the descendants of House Kaslana, it was an honored tradition for them to fight for their loved ones. On this day, the girl received her name from her father, and she set foot on a path deviating from her written fate. However, fate had other plans. In 2010, the latent Hersher persona awoke. Blazes of anger scorched the world that had just opened up to her. To protect Kiana, Siegfried used Judgment of Shamash to suppress the Hersher of the Void. But as a result, he was severely injured.
Dang.
Siegfried realized that he would inevitably rouse the Hersher persona again. To protect Kiana, he left her. The girl was worthy of love. Those who loved her could do anything for her. But in the girl's eyes, it was her very existence that brought them endless sufferings and miseries.
Dang.
Nevertheless, she did not forget the promise with her father and continued to believe in the good of the world. In the Honkai-stricken Nagazora, when Raiden Mei, who had become the Hersher of Thunder, turned against her, Kiana still reached out to her. When they were fleeing Nagazora, Himeko rescued Kiana and Mei and took them to Saint Freya. Kiana's troubled fate was finally calmed for a brief moment. On the campus, she met friends who were like family and made the solemn vow to fight for all that is beautiful in the world. She wanted to stay, but a cruel twist would soon break her hopes.
Dang. Okay.
Dark seeds germinated in the shadow of the peaceful years. The other sentience inside her preyed on all the good in her life once more by encroaching on her cognition in her dreams. It was Kiana's pining for a mother's love that made her awakening possible. She created illusions to make Kiana believe that she saved her mother from sacrificing herself to end the second eruption. When she realized the great joy she experienced was elusive, she broke down and let the Hersher persona take over. Being taken to the Schicksal HQ by Fu Hua, she was confined in the same bleak experiment pod, just as when she was born. Only this time, Otto, who witnessed her rebirth, wished to see the Herrscher of the Void return. Just as Otto expected, the St. Freya group revolted and attacked the Schicksal HQ with anti-entropy to rescue Kiana. In fact, he wanted them to gamble everything for Kiana. Their deep love and the ensuing sacrifices would stimulate Kiana's emotions to help her overcome the Herrscher persona, so she could become a human with Herrscher powers. The Herrscher of the Void achieved complete awakening and pulverized St. Freya and anti-entropy in a display of power.
Damn.
In the end, to save Kiana, Himeko donned the Godsbane battlesuit for Million Night, Eclipse. She defeated Herrscher of the Void and injected the Spear of Destiny, a Honkai neutralizing serum, into Kiana at the expense of her life. Himeko fell into the imaginary space.
Damn, rip.
Kiana might be a Herrscher, but her friends and teachers still loved her and believed in her as much. Yet their goodwill was too heavy to bear. Kiana wandered in Ark City after waking up from the nightmare. Honkai beasts and zombies hunted her. The whispers of the Herrscher tortured her. She wanted to run, but had nowhere to run. Those pains and sufferings are predestined. She was test subject K423, the vessel of a Herrscher, and the root cause of the world's and her loved ones' miseries. Would the world be a better place had she died?
No.
When Kiana was prepared to die with the Herrscher inside, Fuha's sentience in her mind stopped her and the Herrscher from reviving. Kiana finally remembered that Himeko sacrificed herself to save her because, as her teacher, Himeko believed in her potential to change the world. Kiana snapped out of grief and loss. To repay Himeko's faith, she will continue fighting her ill fate. With Fuha's help, Kiana learned how to contain the Herrscher persona and utilize Herrscher powers. She became a rogue hero that fought to save Ark City from destruction. Kiana discovered that the Honkai disasters plaguing Ark City were not related to the Herrscher of the Void. They were the work of a shady organization known as the World Serpent. All traces pointed to a dreadful ploy, Project Stigma. The catastrophe caused by it would level Ark City to the ground. Kiana must transfer the Honkai bomb planted by World Serpent to save Ark City. She made it. Even though the Herrscher persona and Honkai were eating her away, she did not fail Himeko. To change this imperfect world, she became the meteor that ripped Ark City's darkness open and propelled the bomb out of the atmosphere, which rewrote the cruel fate of this city. The unconscious Kiana was taken to the Schicksal North African lab by Durandal. Otto needed a Kiana who had harnessed Herrscher powers to activate the second divine key. Sick of being manipulated, she broke out from the lab and escaped Kevin's pursuit under Fuha's cover. Kiana returned to the ruins of Nagazora. She was ready to meet her end in the place where she first met everyone she cared about. She knew she had little time left as the Honkai core continued to corrupt her. To bring back Kiana, Mei set foot in Nagazora. Kiana had not stopped imagining how she would reunite with her friends once. Yet she could not seize the chance when it finally came. Honkai was growing thick in Nagazora. She had to step forward to protect the world and her friends, even if it would cost her her life. She had always been like this. She would laugh off the worst injuries. She saved the world, saved everyone, but kept the pain to herself. She was killing herself to protect the good in the world, but she had forgotten that she also meant the whole world to her loved ones. To save Kiana, Mei made a pact with Kevin. A new gem of conquest solidified in her body. She became the Hersher of Thunder again and joined World Serpent by choice. May knew her best friend would never accept her choice, but she could not create a future for her dearest if she held on to her past.
Dang.
After May left, Kiana and Bronya went to Mount Taishuan to find the ways of mastering Hersher powers recorded by Fuhua, without knowing the Hersher of Sentience had already woken. In the illusion created by the Hersher of Sentience, Fuhua's lonely life, bound by her mission, flashed before Kiana's eyes. Fuhua planned to sacrifice herself again to seal the Hersher of Sentience.
Oh, yeah.
Kiana could not accept a fate that exchanged their lives for the greater good. It was Himeko's. It was May's. It was Fuhua's. It was hers once, and it was not the happiness they wanted. To end this wretched story the way they truly wanted, Kiana stopped fighting alone. She chose to believe in her friends. In the theater of domination, built by the Legion Hersher, she confronted her fate for the last time. She accepted her fate and who she was. She and the Hersher of the Void were both continuations of Siren's persona. The Hersher of the Void was Siren's hatred toward the world manifested. She was the other possibility, born from Siren's desire for love. The countless hearts that loved and helped her made this possibility a reality, turning her from test subject K423 into a Valkyrie who fights for all that is beautiful in the world, into Kiana Kaslana, who leads everyone forward. As for where her path leads to, we will soon find out.
Man, that was that was a good video. All summary of Kiana, cause well, so at first it was the some of the backstory, cause I keep forgetting low key that, like, yeah, Kiana's like a clone. Yeah, dang. Man, it's rough. It is rough for some of these characters in the Honkai universe. Like, even when, like, things get happy, it does not last too long. It is crazy, but yeah, seeing some of these, this video is really good. It, like, really strung together some of the the last few animations that were watched, and some of the just overall story, and some of it, like, with May and whatnot, her decision, we kind of sort of saw it in Kiana's POV, not like literally POV, but like we saw it intertwined with Kiana's story. So yeah, this was cool. This is a really good one. Yeah, I've said this before, I think a while ago, but I have to say, probably not the most hottest take, the most craziest opinion, but if I had to pick a favorite character from Honkai, I think it's gotta be Kiana. Not just in, like, the shorts and stuff, she has like a funny personality, but like she's also been through a lot, and like takes a lot, and I mean, takes a lot of pain and whatnot. And it's very, very respectable, and just it's a really cool look as well. So yeah, and the music was going in. That was a great video. That was honestly a great video. Very, very nice story of Kiana.
Among MiHoYo writers,
Okay, so we have how chapter 25 perfectly wraps up Kiana's development, and is this Yeah, it's Potato Almanac
Final
again.
lesson is
Welcome
regarded
back.
as the conclusion of the first phase of the story, and afterwards, from chapter 9 extra to 25, the chapter that marks the end of the Hershey of Domination arc, make up the second phase. I will be breaking down what this arc is trying to say, the various implications it has, and the direction the story might be taking in the future. The Hershey of Domination arc started from chapter 23, and you would be forgiven if you thought this arc was about Seele, as we started from Seele having some bickering with her other self, mostly on why Seele compared herself to Kiana, as both of them are people with multiple egos. This will be important later.
Are you talking about what's it called again? You see these one day adventure. Why does it say I haven't watched that? I don't know. But I definitely saw it. I was definitely in a video. It does have the red line under it though.
Apart from Bronya taking the L, this chapter established the characteristics of the puppet while also giving some much needed character development to Seele. In a video a while back, I said that the resolution Seele got in her little arc seems to act in contrast to that of Kiana's. After playing it, I can safely say this is the case, as the story repeatedly provoked this. There's this one interaction between Kiana and Seele during chapter 24.
今日のゼーレなんか別人みたい？でもどんなゼーレもゼールだよね。当たり前でしょ。私たちはゼーレだもの。あなたはどう？もう一人のあなたとの喧嘩は
Yeah, they are similar. Her and Siren and Seele. Oh, damn, bruh.
誰しも心に善と悪が共存してるからあまり気にしないでって言いたかったの。
Nice save, Seele. Seele too.
それを貫き通せばそれで十分でしょ。もう私ったら何を言ってるの。やっぱりゼーレはすごい。
I would like to draw a comparison between these two and the relationship they have with the other self, as they both went through their own turmoil. One finds reconciliation, while the other finds confrontation. One's life is promised inexhaustible possibilities. The people around them will change them and shape their lives. The choices Siegfried, Himeko, and the others made are the reason why K423 is where she is today. However, even the same memories can have different meanings in different eyes. This is the takeaway from the exchange between these two. These memories to one are warm memories, while to the other they are curses. One has grown into who we call Kiana Kaslana, while the other is stuck trying to bring vengeance in the name of Siren. With all the information we got, we can start piecing everything together. The two egos in K423 are born from Siren's deepest wishes. They share her memories and emotions. They're her second chance, the unrealized possibilities of her life. Can you say that the protagonist is Siren living out her wishes? Yes, you can. And she's also Kiana Kaslana, K423, the Hershey of the Void, and the Hershey of Flame Scion. This arc was the arc of hope and faith, described perfectly in the new song Moon Halo, played in the new animations Everlasting Pain, Everlasting Flames. When the past that had been suppressed for so long sends back an echo, with hope and faith, she embraced it. Only by embracing the past can she truly feel the void in her heart, to move forward and to soar above this world. The birth of K423, the first awakening in Siberia, and the memories and emotions she shared with Siren are something Kiana had been running away from. We actually saw her sealing these memories way back in the manga AE Invasion, which chronologically took place slightly before the first game chapter. If you remember, there's this training machine that gives you opponents based on your memories. Kiana got Siegfried, who appeared as someone she most feared. The revelation was that she, more specifically, the memories of Siren she unconsciously forgot, have a deep fear of Siegfried, purely from their fight during Second Eruption, and to that extent, the first awakening in Siberia. No longer will the past hold her back. She will be the torch that lights up the darkness. She will be the shooting star that pierces the long night. She will follow the path that which those around her helped create, with everything she learned and inherited from them.
これは昔聞いたある物語よ。キアナ、自分が死ぬと分かった母親が子供のために手紙をたくさん書いて、毎年子供の誕生日になると手紙が届くようにしたの。そして子供へのプレゼントに、彼女はキャンディーを買うのに十分なお小遣いを手紙に入れた。 子供が大きくなるにつれ、手紙に入ったお小遣いも増えていく。彼女はそういう形で子供の成長を見守ったわ。自分がいなくなっても子供の成長を励ます母親として、その子供時代を守れるようにね。残念だけど今の私にはあんたたちにそういう手紙を残す時間はないわ。でもね、キアナ、私もあんたたちの成長を守ることはできる。あんたたちが私から学んだもの、引き継いだもの、それが私があんたたちに残したキャンティーよ。それはあんたたちが大人に。
Man, this game, bro. This game. I didn't even laugh. I'm just laughing because this game is so sad. The story and stuff like that.
になることを助け、前へと進む力となる。それが私の存在した証。私がずっとあんたたちのそばにいる証よ。キアナ、もうあんたに教えられるものは何もないわ。この先どんな困難があろうとも、あんたは乗り越えられる。あんたなら正しい選択ができる。私はそう信じてるから。
This entire interaction was from a part of Himeko that still remained in the Gem of Haste. It was actually foreshadowed right from the start of chapter 23, where Bronya dreamt of the memories of the first Herrscher of Reason, World Choice. You know, with Kiana learning to use a great sword, remember in the World Serpent manga, Siegfried got his smash, stolen, and probably got himself captured too. So I feel like we might be seeing Kiana paying a friendly visit to the World Serpent very soon, while also maybe taking back the smash in the process. It would be very fitting to have Kiana become the user, as that thing is often seen in the hands of Caslanas. And it would be a great chance for a meetup between Kiana and Mei, considering how much screen time Mei seems to be getting. That concludes my interpretation of this amazing arc. Remember, the Honkai is strong, but family is stronger. Thanks for watching, and may all the beauty be blessed.
Thank you,
Kiana's
Potato.
getting a brand new back.
We're going back to back Potato. We are getting back to back Potato Almanac. Splendid. Kiana's character development seen through design. Oh, I guess maybe about some battle suits and
Battlesuit, and damn is she gorgeous. The Herrscher Flame Scion marks an important point in Kiana's development, and it shows, not just in what she did in the recent chapters, but also in the design itself. So today I will be going through her battlesuits, looking at all the themes in her visual design, and how it relates to her growth as a character. The first place that we can start from is her name. The name Kiana is the spoken form of Diana, the goddess of the moon. The moon in Chinese astrology is associated with purity and beauty, which are words that describes Kiana's character, as we would soon see.
the flying tuna. What is
Starting
that?
off with White Comet, it's the first battlesuit we get to experience. The first thing most would notice is the starry elements, which in this case refers to a comet or a shooting star. Shooting stars are regarded as a
Okay, this is interesting. I never really got an in-depth look at some of
good luck
these.
charm, a symbol of optimism and change, and the reaching
I
of
didn't
one's
really notice
destiny.
those stars.
It's very fitting when we consider the white and orange palette on the battlesuit. White is often associated with hope and innocence, and for orange, it's optimism. All the words that can be used to describe Kiana at this point of the story.
Pretty good research and information here by Potato Alderman. I don't even think I
Describe Kiana at this point
knew
of the
this
story.
about the
The name
colors.
White Comet describes a hopeful innocence that believes in the positive changes that will happen in pursuit of a goal. Kiana initially had the goal of becoming the strongest Jigsaw Valkyrie in accordance to her agreement with Teresa, which was for getting info on her father's whereabouts. Talking about her father, let's take a look at Valkyrie Ranger, which is actually the Saint Freya Valkyrie uniform, though modified to Kiana's liking. Let's look at the cape and the ammo belt, which from the battlesuit info tells us that she added those to make herself look like her father, and I agree, it does look similar. Now that I think about it, the ammo build also tells us about the playstyle of Valkyrie Ranger, needing extra ammo for more range-focused combat as opposed to the melee heavy White Comet. By the way, Valkyrie Ranger is technically the first outfit she wears before getting White Comet, and the principle behind both of these outfits are still the same, being closely tied to her goal of finding her father. As we know, Kiana definitely went through a lot of change, and newer battlesuits added became a great way to mark her growth as a character. Let's start from Hershey of the Void. Just from a glance, everything about this screams power. The menacing golden eyes that suggest something not very normal. The floating lances ready to be thrown at anything that dared oppose her. The uses of purplish pink, a color of corruption that is associated with the Honkai, and the overall darker palette or gives an aura of intimidation. Very fitting for someone with the title Queen of the Honkai. The fur color serves to further cement the arrogant queen image that is expected of her, similar to how you feel when you look at La Signora from Genshin. The pin that holds the color together kinda left me trying to figure out what it's referring to. The protruding parts draws attention to the middle piece that kinda looks like a throne, and the circular plate below reminds me of her void powers. This could possibly be referring to the name of her leader skill, Void Throne. Combine this with the fact that she appears to be sitting on some kind of throne in her victory pose, I'd say this is a reasonable conclusion. The last point of interest is her hairpiece. It's star-shaped, but it looks corrupted with the purple in the middle that seems to be binding onto the star, corrupting it. Kiana would enter a new stage in her development after the Hershey of the Void was defeated. She fell into self-loathing. She felt lost, nearly ending herself, but thanks to the effort, particularly from Fuhua, she pulled through, gaining the resolve to move forward to defy her fate, and gaining greater control over herself in the process. Things that shows in the design of Void Drifter. Void Drifter Kiana feels much more restrained and in control compared to her previous battlesuits. She gained the resolve to move forward, but there's still baggage holding her back. Not only in the sense of the limited use of her void powers, but also in her personality, stowing away her carefree side in favor of more thoughts being put into all her actions, like the golden colored eye, telling us that she's going to new length with her void powers, though not going too far to keep it in check. Her black outfit, furnished with a cape, gives Kiana the look of a fighter, like those cape-wearing characters we often see, defying their predestined fate by creating their own. Kiana have went through change, though there's still a long way to go. Her arc would come to its climax in chapter 25, manifesting in the form of the Hershey of Flame Scion. Flame Scion embodies the completion of Kiana's development, being the continuation of Void Drifter, taking her role as a fighter and the successor to Himeko's legacy into account. Flame Scion is the manifestation of Kiana's resolve. Furnished in white, she is full of hope, the very familiar earrings along with the cape like a fire, burning ever brighter in the face of darkness, further emphasizing Kiana's inheritance of her legacy. When a shooting star streaked across the sky, people made wishes to it, for its shine was blinding. Kiana is this shooting star, bringing good luck to those around her, carrying their hopes and dreams with her. She was once lost, stumbling in the darkness, but nevertheless she persevered, like a star, shining bright in the darkness. This is the story of a shooting star's journey to daybreak. Kiana's journey to her own destiny, the one that she will create with her own hands. Before I end this video, you probably have realized that I didn't mention Night Moonbeam and Divine Prayer, and that's because these battlesuits does not tie into any of Kiana's development, unlike the other ones that I talked about. For Divine Prayer, it's safe to say that there's nothing of value here. We never ever see her wear this outfit. The only thing that links this outfit to who Kiana is the House of Kaslana insignia on the back. The insignia displays a shield, like how Kaslanas act as a shield, protecting those around them. There's the great sword fitted with wings. I think I've seen this before. Nine Moonbeam, on the other hand, was used to signify Kiana getting a power boost, like that time when she met Kalen in the virtual world, when she saved Mei during AE invasion, that one animation that I'm pretty sure was non-canon, and lastly, that time when she went into rage mode against Fuhua. If you look at this battlesuit in-game, we see these lines of text. No matter how hard you try, you can't exactly read this, but fortunately the manga AE Invasion provides us with a close-up shot, and here's what it reads. It's the relics of a song about the moon, in reference to the person whose name meant the goddess of the moon. The content of the song is very morbid. It sounds like some kind of foreshadowing, probably the coming unfortunate events that might happen when Kiana inevitably take a trip to the moon. This kinda ties into the popular consensus on Kiana's whereabouts in post-Honkai Odyssey, being that she traps herself along with the Honkai on the moon, using herself as the seal. This is a connection we could draw, but there's also the chance that these could be referring to something else entirely. Anyway...
So post Honkai Odyssey, I was kinda coming out the same time as like other stuff was coming out. I thought that was maybe like after like the stuff, so that was, so yeah, I'll put that together, that she got her name from the moon goddess and now the moon stuff. Because yeah, she does like be on the moon now. I'm pretty sure. So very interesting. And also interesting. The post Honkai Odyssey. I guess that was like its own thing. I for some reason was thinking that had May and Bronya. I think I'm thinking like part 1.5. I still don't know all the names of everything.
The other thing we see is the insignia, and here's the thing, it changes each time the battlesuit appeared. Depending on what is powering the battlesuit, it's the stigma of the Hershey of Thunder when Kiana was given May's power, the Hershey of Death when Sylvan reconstructed it with the Gem of Serenity, the House of Kaslana in the Virtual World manga and in-game, and then there's this one. I know this scene probably wasn't canon, but this can be used to explain that pin we saw on HOV. That pin is most likely the stigma of the Hershey of the Void. And that concludes my analysis on Kiana's visual design. Keep in mind this is my own interpretation and it could be wrong. If you have any of your own interpretation, then please share it with me down below, as I'd love to hear. This video is definitely harder to make compared to my usual content. So if you want to see more of these types of video, then please leave a like and share it with your friends to let me know.
Analysis.
That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching to the end and goodbye.
What time period is this? 3 years ago.
Last week was a really eventful week.
MiHoYo from Honkai to Genshin. And is this another Potato Almanac one? Interesting. Actually, looking at we're actually going on a Potato Almanac binge right now. So very interesting.
Last week was a really eventful week for MiHoYo. Not only did we get to see the long-awaited preview for the new region of Inazuma coming to Genshin Impact, but also equally as important, the release of 2 different animations related to Honkaiimpact 3rd, which happens to mark the end of the second phase of its story. While I was watching through all these new and exciting contents, I saw these texts at the end of Everlasting Flames. Now, for just a few words, it reminded me of how far we've come as a community, and not just for us the consumers, but also for MiHoYo, who's behind these games we love so much. As someone who appreciates the sheer passion and dedication MiHoYo put into their games, and as my own way of thanking them, I present to you the story of MiHoYo. What things led up to them becoming such a recognizable game developer today internationally, and what obstacles did they face along the way. If their slogan is anything to go by, MiHoYo is dedicated to creating anime-style games and related products. When MiHoYo is mentioned online, it will either be about the Honkai franchise or Genshin Impact. But there's also a lesser-known IP by the name of Fly Me to the Moon, in reference to the ending song of Evangelion with the same name. For any of you who didn't know, the people at MiHoYo are big EVA fans, as described perfectly in a recent Honkai x EVA collab interview at the start of this year.
I was gonna say it's fitting as they do
首先呢，我
collab
想
with
问一
them.
下，这个崩坏3终于联动 EVA 了，各位心中感想如何呢？
我就4个字：公款追星，公款圆梦。
The influence of Evangelion can be seen in pretty much any MiHoYo games. A great example of this is the similarities between EVA's impacts and Honkai's eruptions, or between EVA's angels and Honkai's Hershers, and probably many more that I don't know of.
Outlanders,
Okay.
your journey ends here.
When people first saw the opening cutscene for Genshin Impact, they started drawing connections between the unknown god shown in the cutscene and Kiana Kaslana, who appeared in anything MiHoYo even back to 2011 Fly Me to the Moon. The character of Kiana was created by MiHoYo's lead artist by the name of Cici, who prior to joining was commissioned this character in the latter half of his senior year. The 3 MiHoYo founders are computer science students who couldn't draw, so they searched around for someone to make their designs become reality. They found Cici. He would join the team after quickly coming to an agreement. Since then, he have continued to work for MiHoYo.
Oh, nice.
Back then, cultures around anime media wasn't a thing. Most people used to not proudly proclaim themselves as anime fans. In a startup contest where game developers pitched their ideas to judges, and combined with the team being formed by students, everything was harder. No one would dare to predict that anime and games would become a multi-million-dollar industry we see today. MiHoYo entered many startup contests to show
That was true, anime that was, kind of like seen as like a super nerdy thing back in the day, but it's definitely a little bit more like, I don't know if acceptable is the right word. It's always been like acceptable, and just like, people like kind of look down upon it. But I guess, I feel like in general though, like things like aren't really like nerdy anymore. Like people have kind of gone away with that.
show everyone their project, but almost every investor turned them down. But to their luck, one decided to fund them.
Shout out to the one.
我当时经常被家里人问的一个问题就是，什么时候回广州工作？对，为什么一个人在上海工作这样子？当时我说等这边倒闭了就回去。结果好像并没有这么容易。
After being disheartened by the commercial failure of Fly Me to the Moon, MiHoYo began to think of a game that could make them some bucks. While they were doing that, they came across a game called Zombie Town, a side-scrolling zombie shooter with a basic cartoony art style. Coincidentally, they were also into High School of the Dead at the time, and that's the moment it clicked. What if we make a zombie shooter but with anime girls? Like, they wanted to make everything more cute. The conclusion was to make everything and anything a girl. Zombies, girls. Characters, girls. Weapons, girls. Important historical figures, don't mind if I do. And that's when Honkai was born. Their second project was much more ambitious. By the way, at this point the studio only had one artist, and that's CC. So he alone had to cover for everything art related. By the time Honkai Gakuen 2 was released, the studio had only 7 people. Honkai second was making them money, but problems soon rolled in. Some transactions didn't go through and stuff, and they had no customer support. What happened was that they got overwhelmed. So they ended up hiring players that were interested in them to do it. Every Honkai title so far had been 2D side-scrolling shooters, but MiHoYo wanted to exceed players' expectations. They decided to develop the now popular 3D action game Honkaiimpact first. The development of the game was not easy. No one knew how to do 3D projects, but only by going the extra mile can they surprise their fans. MiHoYo before Honkai Third had so far only been known inside China, with limited success internationally, save for a few countries. The release of Honkaiimpact Third, a 3D action game that was said to be ahead of any mobile games graphics-wise at the time, gave MiHoYo the publicity they needed to appeal to a larger international audience. With all the success Honkai Third had, there are also stuff that MiHoYo wanted to achieve but didn't get a chance to. Said in an interview back in 2018, Honkai Third's progression wasn't going at the same pace across different servers, which prevents players from enjoying the game together as one community. Not to mention the lack of support for other languages initially. Even though today Honkaiimpact servers still isn't going at the same pace, MiHoYo have since achieved this with Genshin, with full voice-over support across 4 different languages along with many more for text, something newer fans today take for granted. Today we have witnessed the largest launch of a Chinese game that also came with massive support for various languages available on day one. MiHoYo not only served as a game developer but also as mangas and anime creators, with large amounts of materials made for the products. The skills the team learned over these years are being put to use in Genshin Impact. Of course, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, as MiHoYo have been heavily criticized for various things, from animation's plagiarism, sexually explicit content, to predatory monetization model, and most of these aren't exclusive to Genshin. Bad stuff aside, we cannot deny that there are serious efforts and passion being put in by the devs to make these games better. Right now we are really close to the release of the Inazuma expansion for Genshin Impact, but until then I'ma go listen to Moon Halo a couple million more times, so I'll see you later.
That was a fire song. This is a very interesting video. So yeah, shout out to MiHoYo and Potato Almanac for putting this together. But the criticism, honestly, before I even got into any of this, I've heard about some like Genshin criticism, maybe not like the ones that were mentioned here, but like people just kind of like, to me it had a bad rep. But I'm glad that kind of looked a little bit more into it. But yeah, the plagiarizing like attacks, I don't know about that. If this is like Like, there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot more than just like these like bunny suit things. I don't know if it's like this specific stuff, but that's kind of nuts.
Aren't exclusive.
But yeah, that's great. And to see where it started, I was like, oh, there's like a Honkai like side scrolling thing. Interesting. That'd be interesting to play. So I don't even know if that's like available because that one, I think he said it didn't go outside of China. So I don't know. It probably, if it can be downloaded, it's probably gonna be a pain to download. But if that's even possible, but. That would be kind of cool.
Honkaiimpact's third contains gorgeous looking animations that is something very special. Many times I find myself rewatching the same cutscenes several times, taking in all the details from the cinematography, the visuals, the voice acting, the music, everything. So today I'll be going over what went into creating these animations we love so much. To start off, let's look at how MiHoYo came to be. MiHoYo started off from a small group of university graduates who love both tech and anime, as evident by the catchphrase we see in their logo, Tech Otaku saves the world.
技术宅拯救世界。
Why am I here as the artist?
To create the best anime-inspired ARPG mobile game on the market. To better achieve this goal, MiHoYo created mangas and anime cutscenes to go along with the game. But you see, most employees at MiHoYo consist of self-taught artists, doujinshi creators, and software engineers that aren't necessarily animation industry veterans, so they would need help from someone who's more experienced in anime to execute their vision. To do that, they contacted a Japanese animation company, and the one that's MiHoYo's top choice is Wonderia, who had worked with MiHoYo from as far back as 2017. MiHoYo has also worked with Chinese companies which has little to no anime experience. One that I will mention is Beijing Wulifang Digital Technology, who has worked on the cutscenes for Wolf's Dawn, Chapter 11 and Chapter 15. Even with different companies with varying levels of anime experience working on the cutscenes, the end product still retains a close visual style to the rest. This can be attributed to MiHoYo's expert storyboarding and close supervision. To create the animations, MiHoYo would outsource the animating to animation companies, while MiHoYo themselves are responsible for all the designs, storyboarding, and supervision, as detailed in an article published in 2018 on the work MiHoYo and Wonderium did for the animation Bewolf the Herrscher. MiHoYo wanted the animation to retain a drawing-like feel to it. Because the animations are done in 3D, many steps are taken, such as one where they employed something common in 2D animations called fake perspective, which they achieved by adding scale controllers to the character models. When there's a shot that reaches out in front of the camera like this one, the scale was applied to the right hand. The animations are done with close supervision from MiHoYo, who will have the animation company do the first pass from the storyboard they made. After that, MiHoYo would draw over the image and send it back to have it be adjusted. This process is repeated until the desired product is achieved. For the more technical stuff, I recommend you give the article a read, link in the description. Apart from in-game cutscenes, MiHoYo in 2019 also worked with Blade to create a short anime series titled Cooking with Valkyries based on Honkaiimpact 3rd. And at the end of this week, MiHoYo would be giving us another anime series also based on Honkaiimpact titled ERF Academy, which I'm very excited for. Actually, this week there's also the Chapter 25 cutscene releasing, which will probably give us an acute case of MiHoYo depression. So if we ever felt devastated after watching the cutscene, we could, maybe cure it by watching the new anime series. Anyhow, this week will be an eventful one, and I hope we are ready for what's to come. Even though by the time this video is out, the cutscene probably will have been released. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, lots of work to go into those, and for it to just be like able to be like. I say this story. Wait. But for it to just be like like readily available to be like reacted to, even reused for like other media, just because it's like free advertising for them. That is just so like. That is so awesome. I am so grateful. It's because it makes these videos so easy to be able to be made and put out, and it's not the hardest to make a reaction video. Of course, I'm definitely not saying it is, but sometimes things in the YouTube copyright system. It's pretty hard, or like you have to like really like kind of murk the picture of the whole thing. And I'm so thankful I don't have to do this to Honkai. I know like the first video I kind of didn't really know the vibe of it, or how that was the thing. But I now know, and it's a lot easier. I still try to like add stuff to it. I don't want it to just be like me staring at the screen the whole time, which sometimes, like, especially with some of these are like more like information ones, I just kind of like sit and learn and then say my piece. But when there's like an epic cutscene, that's when you get like, I feel like, the good reaction. I don't know. So if my reaction stinks, I'm sorry, but I'm having fun making. I'm having fun. Yeah, just learning more about Honkai and whatnot. And yeah, and just shout out to everyone, Potato Almanac, anyone, and everyone in this playlist as well. But yeah, very, very, very nice of them to have like not like claim, or especially not like strike anything. That's very, very cool. I like how I can have these to just upload without worrying about it, because some of my other reactions I have to struggle a little bit. Like just this other South Park episode is actually giving me a little bit of trouble, actually. Don't know if there's anyone who actually watches both the South Park and the Honkai, but those are two things that I do. So yeah. But I just checked there. We have this 5-minute one, and then this a 1-minute one. I think that is going to do it for me, because the next one is that 36-minute video I've been talking about. So I think we'll start with that next time. And honestly, that's probably going to be the majority of next video. Maybe a few others. So we'll see how the next one goes. But yeah, I think for now, for this one, we got 2 things left. This one, The Descent into Madness. Who is Otto?
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.
Spoilers.
Few characters in Honkai have an infamous reputation among the community. Even if their reputation isn't exactly great, they would often have some redeeming qualities that enable fans of the game to at least understand where they're coming from, or even just a little, be able to sympathize with them. Characters such as Siren and Kevin is a great example of this. However, this doesn't really apply to Otto Apocalypse. Otto is best described by the word unpredictable. You can't really guess what exactly he's going to do before it's too late. Sometimes he does some admirable things, and another time he becomes a big piece of shit. Otto saved a lot of people by creating the cure for this universe version of the Black Plague. We see how Otto took care of Teresa as her grandfather in the first Chronicle story, which admittedly was pretty decent. On one hand, he did contribute to society in some good ways, and on the other, he's committing many horrible acts behind the scene. What this creates is a situation where parts of the community would call Otto by various names, ranging from the true villain to something like an anti-hero. The truth is, Otto's actions usually have some ulterior motive behind them, so we need to keep this in mind, especially when looking at actions that seems to make Otto look good.
Because I was confused about, because like Otto just seems like there's a lot of bad stuff he does, and then like there'd be like some things that like almost seem kind of good, or like I was getting like a moral gray vibe, but then it was like he just seems kind of evil. So like I think what if I'm gathering from that and what I've seen right now, I'll probably in this next 4 minutes I'll probably learn a bit more, but for right now my conclusion is somewhat mixed bag, morally gray, but more so leaning towards just
the actions I mentioned have something in common with each other, and that is, it's related to his obsession with a certain someone he holds dear. I'm of course talking about Kalen Kaslana, who was deceased long before the game story starts. Otto's motivation for creating the cure was that he thought Kellen would leave him if he didn't. I don't know why he thinks this way, but let's just roll with it. Otto adopted Teresa.
It always comes down to being a simp, doesn't it, with these villains? All media, it all comes down to like trying to get someone back. I'm kidding. Well, partially. That is a driving factor.
Partly because he saw that Teresa acted like Kellen. It's not an overstatement to say that Otto is way too obsessed over Kellen. Every source material reinforces the idea that Otto would do anything for Kellen. He's constantly looking for ways to revive her. He created clones and androids of her, of which notable go by the name of Teresa and Amber respectively. The thing with Otto is that we would often see him working in the best interest for everyone, but if there's anything that catches his attention, like say a way to revive Kellen, then he would just drop whatever he's doing in favor of that thing that interests him. We cannot talk about Otto without mentioning Shixel. As the head of the organization, Otto holds tremendous amounts of power. Shixel supposedly exterminated Honkai threats, but many times some could say that Otto isn't as interested in getting rid of the Honkai as much as he wants to fulfill his own desires. This was what some members of the organization thought. As we know, a group of these members went on to mutiny and created anti-entropy. To us viewers, the idea of doubting Otto's commitment to exterminating the Honkai was brought forward fairly early by the Sirin project, Otto's most notorious plan, intended for the study of the Herrscher of the Void power, and ultimately the control of it. Through sci-fi magic, it explained the creation of the time fracture system present in-game, but I'm sure that we all know the biggest impact this project had.
Impact 3? Yeah.
The creation of clone K423 and subsequently the reawakening of the Herrscher of the Void have had massive impact that set the tone of the story, which is still going till this day at chapter 24. For the sake of clarification, going forward into this video, I'll call clone K423 Kiana and the Herrscher of the Void Sirin. Anyways, victory against Sirin, if you can even call it that, was paid dearly by those involved. The fact that is often overlooked was that Otto intended to have Sirin squashed, with Kiana taking back control of the body. Otto estimated that Kiana would take back control once the first death occurred from anyone close to her. It's just a matter of who it would be. A human is easier to control than a Herrscher. It's a statement from Otto that I cannot help but agree with. Suppose Otto held something or someone that Kiana cannot abandon as hostage. Otto then can put out whatever demands he wants, and Kiana wouldn't have much choice but to accept it. We can safely say that Otto's over-obsession with Kellen negatively impacts anyone around him. The tools he had at his disposal, like the Void Archives, allowing him to access immense knowledge and power, such as mimicking divine keys for users and Solium avatars that allowed him to basically be unkillable, poses a major threat to any of our characters in the universe. Otto hasn't done much lately after recently getting demolished by a very angry Fuhua after reviving her, but that was probably only one of his avatar anyway, so it's nothing really. Right now, who knows what he's up to? He could be looking for an opportunity to snatch Kiana again, or maybe something much sinister. Until then, that's about it for today. I'd like to thank all of you for all the support recently. It really helps keep me going. Let me know down below which character you would like to see next, and I'll look into it. Now then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.
Thank you, Potato Almanac. Okay, one more here. I think this is a GLB 4th anniversary look back trailer. Oh, wait, no. I'm not sure what GLB stands for, but yeah, this is a look back trailer by the actual Honkai people. Or Honkai channel. One last thing for today.
今でもあの炎を覚えてる。残り火が冷たい風の中で揺れ、薪が怪人の雨を浴びても、あの炎は消えることがなかった。夜の帳が落ちた時、炎は太陽や無数の星となり、暖かく見守ってくれた。今 荒唐無稽な舞台で人形たちは幕を下ろし太陽と星の光を隠そうとしてる。お願い、もう一人の私、セールと一緒に戦って。目標ロックオン、全部総展開。すぐに片付ける。シドニーバットン。審判の時は来た。この烈火は全てを断ち切る。今度私があの炎になる番だ。見てくれてるよね、艦長。
Nice. That was really sick. That was really brought everything together, and also kind of with all the dates and stuff. Really makes it seem like, you know, really important. Hammers home that I've been like watching, like, you know, years and years of stuff, because like, I mean, it's doesn't take that long to get through, but especially only watching like the animation stuff. But it's you know, the story's been cooking for a while. Interesting. So alright, very interesting watches today. A lot of Potato Almanac. A big shout out to them. You know. But yeah, we learned a lot more about Kiana, or maybe not learned, because I think I may have seen that before, but like rehashed, maybe went over again. I don't know. There's a word there I think I'm looking for. I may have found it. I don't know. But we went over Kiana's stuff again to learn more about her development, her story, and a big Kiana time. And then we even learned about MiHoYo as a company, which that was very interesting. And a little bit about Otto as well, as I'm sure we'll get more into Otto eventually in this playlist at some point. I know he has that one that one animation that I would imagine would be on here at some point. Yeah, just haven't reached it yet. But yeah, till next time, because next time, like I said, 36-minute video going back to Homu Labs. I remember this channel before. And after that's an 18-minute video, so it not probably, maybe only that, maybe like the next 3 videos, so that it's like 36, 18, and then 2. Maybe those are gonna be the next video. And yeah, we're only 56 out of 182 in this playlist, so definitely a lot more to go. So hopefully you are enjoying this, because I know I keep saying this, but it just to reiterate, because it seems to be the very truth that this is gonna be a thing for the long haul, for the foreseeable future. It may take a bit to get through. It's very interesting, because you know, not like really knowing all this, it's really cool to like go through the whole story again with some more knowledge. Yeah, stuff like, you know, like Kiana stuff, a lot of sad stuff at home, kind of emotional stuff. It's definitely interesting. They definitely glad to see they got through all like the hardship so much. Right? They got to this point, because it definitely was a process. Sometimes you just gotta trust the process, trust the plan. I'm glad, you know, they're not getting too like criticized or whatnot, because I think these games are fire. I mean, I haven't really dug into Genshin Impact too much, but at least for Honkai, you know, it just seems really cool. But alright, that is gonna do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like or dislike, subscribe or don't subscribe. No, it's always up to you. I will see you guys in the next video. You watch with me. Good boy.